my name's Tim Murphy, and I've been a member of Naomh Moninne from early 1970s. I was privileged to be the son of Maurice Murphy, and that ensured that I would be heavily involved in Naomh Moninne throughout my life. We would have been dominated at juvenile level in the 70s by teams from RD, and then later on in the 70s, Drogheda became the dominant force at under 14 level. But in the meantime, we managed to sneak a minor championship in 1978 with my colleagues from school. People like Peter McQuillan would have been very influential in that team. And a number of us would have progressed into this Naomh Moninne senior team. The original Naomh Moninne crew were becoming fathers and entering their 30s, and there was a bit of a gap in terms of experience and youth. So I was one of the very first to bridge that gap, and I was very quickly followed in the early 80s by people like Paddy Brady, Paul Callan and the Fanning brothers and other products of our limited success juvenile structure. In the early part of the 80s, we then began to dominate the senior scene because we still had the benefit of senior players like Jim McGuinness and Patsy Murphy. Men like Ollie Riley were very prominent at the time, and we were blessed with the arrival of John Kennedy into the county, and he joined us and became a very influential member of our panel during the 80s. We went on to win 6 or 7 senior championships, or county championships as they were. But the big story of the 80s was really the rebirth of Naomh Moninne as a club, in that at the end of the 70s we were on the verge of disappearing, but my dad, I suppose, just couldn't allow that to happen, and with the help of everybody that was involved originally with Moninne and new blood like brother Paddy Moran, Tom Ryan and people like that, there was a rebirth of the club right at the beginning of the 80s with a focus on trying to develop a juvenile structure. Myself and Paul and Paddy worked with juveniles from say 82 on, and we had success for the first time in 83, where we won the first of 3 under 14 championships, which were the foundation stone to the new Naomh Moninne, I suppose, that brought us right through the 90s. People like John Murphy were very prominent in that squad. I suppose the next big development was, at that time in 1984, which was centenary year, there was a lot of thought going into the future of the GAA and Naomh Moninne in particular, and we had enjoyed a little bit of success at juvenile level from a very small amount of work, and we thought, well, if we could get a lot more people involved, we could get a lot more success and we could grow this game. And out of that thought, a meeting was held and the Dundalk Juvenile Hurling Board was set up. From that, we grew 2 new clubs as a result of teams from the Avenue Road area being led by Damien Callan, and teams from Knockbridge led by Jerry Dunn, and then ably assisted by Aidan Carrigan. We also had Tom Casey and Jackie Connolly involved with teams. All the work that these guys put in led to teams representing Naomh Moninne winning Failing Gale in 88 and 89, I think it was, in Laois and Offaly. The era of 80s should be remembered for the true growth of Louth hurling, and that we had great fun as Naomh Moninne people playing for Naomh Moninne, but we also contributed to the birth of 2 new very competitive clubs